Victor with LakelandCarKeys.com. I'm currently working on this 2018 Silverado. All keys lost. I used my ignition removal tools. I pulled the ignition and I tried decoding or cutting the key based off of the code that was stamped on the ignition pigtail. And sometimes these are real hard to read and you can't get them. And what I thought was the code for the first key that I cut wasn't the code. So in a situation like that, I can either pull the key code by VIN number for additional cost, or I could disassemble the ignition cylinder itself, read the tumblers, and then know the position of the tumblers, and use my key machine to fill in all the missing cuts. Alright, so as this key cuts, we're gonna have to cut both sides. I'll reassemble this, and then we can move on to the vehicle and do key programming using the Autel IM508. And we will have to do a 12-minute wait. And this particular vehicle will prompt us to add in 2 keys. So I'm gonna cut 2 B119 transponder chip keys. So I got the key cut, and I reassembled everything, put the key back in, and then there's a separate tail piece that I was trying to read the code off of, which will go back in here. I'll get it back into ignition, make sure it turns both ways. I could start cutting the second key now, and then we can start doing the programming. When taking these ignitions out, be very careful. This is what holds it in, the retaining clip. And on these years, they do come out separately. And if you're not paying attention, it will pop off into space. You'll never find it. And then you won't be able to lock the ignition back into place. So if you plan on repairing these, taking them out, I'd suggest you ordering some extra springs and retainers just in case. Alright, so I got the tail end all assembled. And I got the ignition back into place. And I can just confirm that I can turn it. Alright, and now grab my programmer and start the 12-minute wait. Alright, so I got the programmer hooked up, and I'm auto-venting it. And I'm going to start the programming sequence. Now again, this will make us wait 12 minutes. We want to verify, make sure we're using the correct transponder, because if it fails, it won't tell us. It'll make us wait the 12 minutes and then fail, and then we'll have to start over again. So just the same way with, closing the doors, and I close the door and hang the program out the window. Don't let anyone touch any of the doors or anything, because it will make the programming fail, and it'll make you wait the 12 minutes before it tells it to fail, and then you have to start over again. Alright, so we're in the Silverado 1500, and this model year is going to be an 8 of 17. So I will go 17 to 20, blade key. Alright, we're going to go into control unit. Actually, you know what? Let me escape. I'm going to go into hot function. And then I'm going to hit all keys lost. And then let it go through the automatic wizard, pull the pin number, and start the key programming. Alright, I can hear some clicking in the BCM over there in the corner, and it read the password. And we can go ahead and clear all the error codes out. Alright, so it tells us to close all the doors. This is the part where I usually roll down the window so that during the 12-minute wait I don't have to stay in the vehicle. I hit OK. And now it's asking if we want to start the key programming process. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. It tells us to close all doors, turn the ignition on. There goes our pin number. And all right, so now we got 12 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back and go cut that second key, and in 12 minutes I'll cut back in while we continue the programming. Okay, now I'm back in the van and I'm cutting the second key. And the reason why I don't cut both of them together is because if the cuts that I cut on the first time were wrong, now I just cut 2 keys and wasted 2 blades. So we always just cut one, verify it works in all the locks, and then once we verify that our cuts work correct, we come back and cut the second one. Alright, so again, we have to do the same cuts on both sides of the key. And this process here with this cutting usually takes about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, depending on, you know, how deep the cuts are. And then once that's done, we just flip it over and start on the other side. Alright, so we're at the last couple of seconds, and there we go. We're starting to go into the key program process. So it's going to have us shut the ignition off and open and close the door. At that point I could get back in the vehicle. Alright, so it says switch the ignition off and remove the key. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And then it says open and close the door, make sure all appliances are off. Alright. So I am gonna go ahead and I jumped over a step there. I was supposed to make sure everything was off. Alright. And hit OK, and then insert the key to be matched and turn the ignition on. Okay. And then right above the key, all the way back there, there's a little orange lock light, and that's what we want to see go out. Alright, so it says the current key is matching. Do you want to match the next key? We're going to go ahead and hit yes. Alright, and then it configures. It tells us turn the ignition off and remove the key. We're going to hit OK. And then open and close the driver's door. Make sure all the appliances are off. Okay. And then this is our second key. I'm going to go ahead and turn the ignition on. Hit OK. And then it says that key program. Do we want to match the next key? We're going to hit no. Turn the ignition off, remove the key, hit OK. Open and close the door. Alright, and then we're going to let it go ahead and configure. Alright, so now it tells us to please turn the ignition on. We're going to hit OK. Alright, switch the ignition off. Hit OK. Alright. Alright, switch ignition on. Now remember our little lock light. That's the one we want to see go out. And there it is, it's completely out. That means the vehicle recognized the key, and the program tells us we got 2 keys programmed to the vehicle. We're going to hit OK. And then it will go into remote control learning if you're doing remote controls. This. Shut off the hazards. Just test that my key starts up the vehicle. You know, make sure it stays running. I'll take that out, swap in the other key. Alright, so that's 2 keys successfully programmed and all keys lost using the ignition removal tools on high security ignition and programming the keys with the Autel IM508. So if you're in the Lakeland, Florida area and you want a quote on replacement car keys, you can fill out the form on our website at lakelandcarkeys.com, or you can call or text me at 863-409-2569. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share our post on your wall. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. lakelandcarkeys.com.